It's about making sure that those who break the law face real consequences. And it's about restoring confidence in a justice system that right now too many people feel is not working. Let me bring this closer to home in Brampton. Crime is rising, car thefts are out of control, home invasions are becoming more frequent. Organized criminal networks are targeting our neighborhoods. Families are worried, seniors feel vulnerable, small businesses owners are dealing with theft and insecurity. People are asking, how did it get this bad? For years, policies have been too soft, criminals are being released too quickly, there are not enough consequences, and law-abiding citizens are paying the price. Bill C-242 is a step in the right direction. It sends a clear message, enough is enough. It puts public safety first. But this is just the beginning. We need stronger laws, we need to support our police, and we need to stand up for victims. Because every family in Brampton and across Canada deserves to feel safe in their homes and in their community. So at this time, I would like to invite our Shadow Minister for Justice, Larry Brock, to come and say a few words, and then later on, after speaking, Mr. Khanna will speak about this, his personal bill that he brought forward, which is going to strengthen and improve the criminal law as well as provide safety to the people. I would like to invite Larry Brock to come to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Larry Brock. I'm the Member of Parliament for Brantford, Brant South, Six Nations, and I'm the Shadow Minister of Justice and the Attorney General. For over a year, MP Arpan Canna and I have crisscrossed this country, presenting a vision of what this country should be like in terms of law and order. We've listened to stakeholders, we've presented at town halls, we've done media interviews, and one thing is abundantly clear. Canadians are absolutely fed up. They're fed up, they're angry, they're scared. They are asking this federal government to do its number one job, which is to keep Canadians safe. For the last 11 years, liberal soft on crime agendas, policies, and laws have weakened our criminal justice system. The introduction of Bill C-75 in 2019 introduced the liberal principle of restraint, which directed every judge, every justice of the peace who hears bail hearings every day of the year to release criminals at the earliest opportunity on the least restrictive conditions. This notwithstanding that we already had in place a regime to determine whether or not someone could be safely released into the community or presented such a risk that detention was the only option. This has frustrated judges and justices of the peace from across this great country who feel that their hands have been handcuffed by this liberal agenda to release criminals at the earliest opportunity. That, folks, is the origin of catch and release. We wake up every day to read, hear, and witness criminals being released over and over and over again, who cannot be trusted, putting communities at risk. Canadians deserve to live in a peaceful community. That has been shattered by weak criminal laws introduced by this Liberal government. And then in 2022, they introduced C-5, which removed all the mandatory minimum penalties for serious gun offenses and every drug offense. So we have looked for alternatives. We have asked this government to strengthen our criminal laws. I'm a former Crown attorney. Mark Carney promised in the 25 election that he would make criminal justice and bail reform a priority. 8 months passed before they introduced into the House of Commons C-14, the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act. Prior to that, MP Arpan Canada introduced Bill C-242, the Jail Not Bail Act. We presented that in the backyard of a constituent in Brampton. It was lauded, it was supported by law enforcement right across this country. So while Bill C-14 is now in the Senate and is being studied, it does not go far enough. It still preserves the principle of restraint. It still will instruct judges to release the accused at the earliest opportunity. And that is why I stand in full support of my friend, colleague, Arpan Canna, into discussing and urging this government to vote in favor of the passage of 242. The vote is happening this week. I will allow MP Canna now to explain in further detail. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Larry, and thank you, Amarjeet. I want to thank you all for taking time to be here on a Sunday morning. We're all here because we care. You know, we've talked about this many times. Once safe communities like Brampton, Mississauga, Vaughan, in BC, and in southwestern Ontario, and Larry's riding, my riding of Oxford County, our streets used to be safe. We had, you know, kids playing outside late hours. We had seniors going to parks, to cafes. We had, you know, families enjoying the great Canadian life. But in the last 10 years, under this Liberal government, as Larry mentioned, we have seen regressive policies that have put our communities at risk. Pierre Poilievre and our Conservative team have been fighting hard for the last few years, raising alarm bells, talking about extortion well before it was a media sensation. You might remember when extortion first started, it was the Conservative Party Deputy Leader Tim Uppal who brought in introduced Bill 381. Liberals voted that down. We brought in other measures of justice to tighten up the system that the Liberal government has broken. They voted that down. Every step of the way when we try to introduce new legislation, the Liberals have blocked it. Just this past year, we introduced a motion to fast track my bill, the Jail Not Bail Act, and once again, the Liberals blocked it. The Liberal Party has been a party of blocking, of deflecting, of denying. You may recall that when crime first took off, they first denied the problem. They said that crime doesn't exist. They said it's all in your head. They said that, you know, it's not the wild, wild west. These were the comments of the Liberal ministers. You know, we've asked them in the House of Commons, I don't know how many times, about these issues. It wasn't an issue for them. Then they started deflecting. They started saying it's the province's fault. It's the Premier's fault. It's the Mayor's fault, the Council's fault. It's the law enforcement's fault. They have the tools they need to enforce. And then they finally started accepting responsibility after Conservatives and our leader Pierre Poilievre put pressure on them in the House of Commons. We raised issues every single day, and then they started feeling the pain at the ballot box. When they started losing ground in key swing ridings like the GTA and out in BC, they finally woke up. And so for us, my bill has been inspired by victims and their families. We all know someone in our neighborhoods, in our communities, that has been affected by crime. Whether you're a small business owner affected by extortion, whether you are a senior, anyone and everyone has felt the pain of rising crime in our community. When we speak to victims across this country, they tell us they're scared, they're nervous, they're anxious, and they're pleading for help. They want to see policy that would put repeat violent offenders, those that terrorize our communities, behind bars. We often get asked about the numbers. In Kelowna, the same 15 people, the same 15, were responsible for 1,300 crimes in a single year. In Vancouver, the same 40 were having police interactions 6,000 times. So the number of criminals is a very small number, but the magnitude is very big. So if you go after the repeat violent offenders, you could have safe streets again. You could have those once thriving neighborhoods again. In my bill, the Jail Not Bail Act looks to do that. Larry touched upon the principle of restraint. That principle releases repeat violent offenders over and over and over again. It handicaps and handcuffs the judges who are forced to release these violent offenders back on our streets. Just a few days ago in Vaughan, a person with over 40 charges and multiple releases on bail was arrested. We've had, single mothers killed by intimate partner violence by someone who's out on bail. We've had, kids laying in bed hit with stray bullets and the person being released on bail. There's a common theme here. We have to put away those offenders that continue to terrorize our communities. In the Jail Not Bail Act, we will repeal the principle of restraint. It will be gone once and for all, and we'll introduce a principle of public safety. So any judge that looks to release someone on bail has to look at the lens of public safety first as the primary consideration. We would create a major offenses category for bail. This will include drug trafficking, extortion, violent carjackings, home invasions, attacks on law enforcement, on police officers, on firefighters. And it will make a presumption of detention as opposed to release. We would tighten up the rules that govern bail to make it tougher for these repeat violent offenders to end up back on our streets. We have asked to make sure that those that are non-citizens in our country have to surrender their passport as a mandatory condition. We've asked that other criminals who have a long history of crime should not be sureties or guarantors for someone else that just got picked up for crime. We have talked about revoking bail for those that are convicted, who are found guilty of committing a crime, having their bail revoked. So our changes are common sense. Pierre Poilievre and our team have been putting forward thoughtful solutions. Unfortunately, the Liberals have been blocking up till date, but they have a chance. I'm very optimistic. They talk about collaboration. They talk about working together. Just like in C14, where our Justice Committee and our team pushed that bill through at the earliest opportunity because we knew it was a step in the right direction. We know it won't solve all the problems, but we knew it was one step towards a path of safety. They have an opportunity on Wednesday to vote in favor to get our bill into committee so we can discuss it further and pass it and restore safe streets in our country once again. So thank you so much for coming today. We're happy to answer any questions you might have. So the floor is yours.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम आप सबको मालूम है कि क्राइम काफ़ी तेज़ी ना बढ़ रहा है हमारी कम्युनिटी में. There's an increase in crime happening right across the country. मेरा बिल जेल नॉट बिल बिल एक पार्लियामेंट में दोबारा आ रहा है वोट ਲਈ वेडनेसडे को. सो मेरी एक गुजारिश है सभी को कि प्लीज़ vote call your Liberal MP to vote in favor of this bill. We have to stop crime in our community. The jail not bail bill will put repeat violent offenders जो हम सब देखने के बार-बार क्राइम कर रहे हैं हमारी कम्युनिटी में, they belong behind jail, not on the streets, and this bill will fix that. So again, I ask you to call your Liberal MPs in Mississauga, in Brampton, and right across this country to support the Conservative bill and restore safe streets once again in our country. और I want to thank Arshad Bhatti साहब, वो हमारी कम्युनिटी के लिए हमेशा साथ में होते हैं, standing shoulder to shoulder, raising the issues, working for Canadians, and fighting hard for Canada's way of life. Thank you, Mr. Bhatti.
और ये एक ऐसा बिल है जिससे जो क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम है उसको स्ट्रेंथन होगा, वो इम्प्रूव भी होगा. और साथ के साथ में मैं आपसे गुजारिश करना चाहता हूँ सभी लोगों से कि आप अपने मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट्स को बिल्कुल कॉल करें, ईमेल करें और उनको फ़ोन करके बताएं कि जो डिबेट है वो मंडे को हो रही है और वेडनेसडे को वोटिंग है। अगर ये बिल पास हो जाता है तो इट विल क्रिएट ए रोबस्ट क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम, जिसके कारण हमारी जो स्ट्रीट्स हैं वो भी सेफ होंगी, हमारे नेबरहुड्स भी सेफ होंगे, हमारे बच्चे सेफ होंगे। आज हमको पता है कि जिस तरीके से क्राइम बढ़ा है पूरी कम्युनिटी में, सोसाइटी में, टाउन में, आज हमने जिस तरीके के देखे हैं कि चाहे वो कार जैकिंग हो, होम इन्वेजन हो या एक्सटॉर्शन है, ये बहुत बढ़ चढ़ के कम्युनिटी में हावी हो रहा है। इसको कम करने के लिए हमें जो क्राइम लॉज हैं उनको टफ करने की ज़रूरत है और इसी मसले पर आज हमने जो है प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस ली थी और जवाब तलब किए थे। साथ के साथ मैं आपको ये भी बताना चाहता हूँ कि ये जो बिल है, मैं अक्सर कहता हूँ कि जब तक हम टफ नहीं करेंगे तब तक क्रिमिनल्स जो हैं वो बेकाबू घूमते रहेंगे और इट्स टाइम टू पुट विक्टिम्स अहेड ऑफ क्रिमिनल्स। और मैं हमेशा ये कहता हूँ कि जो रिपीट वायलेंट ऑफेंडर्स हैं वो दे शुड बी इन जेल, नॉट ऑन बेल। सो मेरा मैसेज यही है और अब आप लोगों से गुजारिश है कि प्लीज़ डू कॉल, आप सभी अपने जो मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट लिख सकते हैं तो यू टू सपोर्ट द बिल C242, जिससे हमारा जो क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम है रोबस्ट होगा, हमारी स्ट्रीट सेफ होंगी और लोगों को राहत महसूस होगी। एक बार फिर मेरी तरफ से आप सभी को ईद की बहुत बहुत मुबारकबाद। थैंक यू।
At Alam Law Firm, we believe that the most important element of every file we work on is indeed the clients themselves,
which has resulted in a proven track record of success.
Our battle-tested litigation lawyers stand tall in the face of adversity and challenging cases.
Our legal team comprises many legal professionals.
Every individual deserves dedicated legal representation.
For legal representation that will aggressively fight for your rights, contact Alam Law Firm today.
अगर आपको दुबई या मिडल ईस्ट नुमा ज़ेवरात की तलाश है तो आपको दूर जाने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं। आज ही हमारे मिसिसागा रिजवे स्टोर तशरीफ लाइए। अल करम ज्वेलर्स। हमारे पास सोने के बेहतरीन कंगन, कड़े, झुमके, हार और सोने के सेट्स भी दस्तयाब हैं। शादी हो या मेहंदी या कोई भी फंक्शन, आपकी पसंद के तमाम जेवरात आपको हमारे स्टोर में मौजूद मिलेंगे। आज ही हमारे स्टोर पर तशरीफ लाइए। अल करम ज्वेलर्स, 3465 प्लैटिनम ड्राइव, यूनिट 99, मिसिसागा, या फिर कॉल करें 905-828-0009। अल करम ज्वेलर्स, फरमाइश आपकी, गारंटी हमारी।
Welcome to Icon Event Space, where every occasion becomes unforgettable. From weddings and corporate gatherings to birthdays, anniversaries, conferences, and cultural festivals, Icon is designed to host it all seamlessly. With room for up to 1,200 guests, our venue blends flexibility, sophistication, and scale, all tailored to your vision. Great location with ample free parking. Convenience is always part of the experience. Savor our premium catering, featuring South Asian, continental, and a world of international flavors, curated just for you. Call us today at 437-425-2500 or visit iconeventspace.com.
राहत बेकर्स एंड स्वीट्स 60 साल से आपके हसीन लम्हों में शामिल, खुशियों से भरे मीठे जायके, नफासत और क्वालिटी में सबसे बेहतर, खालिस अज्जा से तैयार करदा मिठाई, केक्स, बिस्किट्स एंड स्नैक्स, वही ऑथेंटिक जायका और क्वालिटी। पाकिस्तान से अब आपके शहर मिसिसागा में, कुछ मीठा कुछ नमकीन। राहत बेकर्स,